Straight ahead on CCX News, a purpose behind the picture. Meet a Robbinsdale woman who spreads happiness around the globe with her camera. Plus,
how can we make our roadways better?
We talk to local women who are blazing a trail in the field of science and engineering. But first, the 4th of July blasts in Robbinsdale that were no fireworks. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with the kind of fireworks local police don't want to see.
On 4th of July night, police say a man was firing a handgun into the air and into the ground by an apartment complex where he lived. The incident happened around 10 last night at the Robinwood Apartments. Multiple callers dialed 911 reporting what was going on. Police surrounded the area to search for the man, and they eventually found him inside one of the apartments.
Number one, it's illegal to shoot a handgun inside of city limits. It's excruciatingly dangerous because we don't know where those bullets are going to go. He shot them up in the air and they have to come down at some point.
Crystal, Brooklyn Center, and Hennepin County law enforcement also responded. No one was injured. Police say the man was not drunk, but he did not have a permit to carry a firearm. The suspect is 51 years old. He's being held at the Hennepin County Jail without bail, and we are not yet naming him because charges have not been filed.
Meanwhile, Brooklyn Park Police fatally shot a pit bull, the same dog blamed for attacking a woman. Shortly before midnight Wednesday, officers were called to a home in the 7900 block of France Avenue. The caller said a woman was bit multiple times by a dog and was bleeding and needed help. When police arrived, they found the woman lying on the sidewalk. They say she had bite marks on both of her arms and a leg. When officers tried to take the pit bull to the impound, the dog came out of the house off leash.
When the dog saw the officer, the dog started to walk faster or run a little bit towards the officer. The officer gave some commands, get your dog, get your dog. He couldn't. The dog continued to follow at the officer, come at the officer. So the officer who was there attending to the victim had to shoot the dog.
The pit bull belonged to the homeowner's boyfriend. Police say the victim was playing with the dog when it became aggressive. The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
A hot and humid July night kept Brooklyn Center firefighters busy. These photos sent to the Twin Cities FireWire Facebook page show Brooklyn Center firefighters fighting a house fire late Tuesday night. Multiple callers reported the fire just after 11 p.m. Tuesday in the 5500 block of Humboldt Avenue North. When crews arrived, the fire had spread to the attic. The person who lives there was not home at the time. No one was hurt. As we went to air, the cause of the fire remained under investigation.
A heads up to drivers who use Highway 610. A road resurfacing project gets underway tonight. That's Thursday evening. Road crews will repave Highway 610 between Highway 252 and the Mississippi River Bridge in Brooklyn Park. The work will be done during overnight hours to minimize the traffic impact. The repaving work will wrap up on Saturday morning. Then next week, work will shift to the Coon Rapids side of the river for more repaving work. And that work will also take place during overnight hours through the morning of Friday, July 13th. Drivers will encounter lane closures and short-term full closures during each night of the project. Men still outnumber women in careers that use science or engineering.
But two women in our area are standing out for their work in that field.
Instructor Janine Euling teaches fluid power at Hennepin Technical College in Brooklyn Park.
People understand a little bit better if I say hydraulic and pneumatic engineering, because basically that's what we do.
Fluid power is used for everything from medical devices to construction to aerospace.
I was always curious about how stuff works, why it does what it does, how does it do what it does.
Janine is the teacher and the only woman in the room, but that last part is nothing new.
I've always been the only female in the labs that I worked in, and the guys are like, oh, what's the chick doing here?
Janine calls her career as an engineer the best struggle she has ever had. Now she finds teaching her favorite subject truly rewarding.
To be here after that time and share this with everyone is the best thing in the world. And to help them say, hey, well, if she can do it, I can do it too.
How can we make our roadways better? How can we make the environment better? That's what interested me to civil engineering itself.
This spring, Carla Stevie from Maple Grove became the first female Hennepin County highway engineer. She will oversee many elements of the county's road and bridge projects, from design to construction.
We really work with the public and the stakeholders on that to really identify what their needs are for the roadway, what they would like to see the roadway look like.
Carla has more than 20 years of experience in transportation planning and says anyone interested in this field should get internships early and then blaze their own trail.
Being named as the first female Hennepin County engineer is really an honor for me. And I have the utmost respect for all the county engineers that came before me. They've done great work, and I'm just really committed to upholding the high standard that they set.
The Hennepin County Board appointed Carla for a 1-year term, and she could be reappointed for a 4-year term next May. A Robbinsdale woman continues to spread happiness all over the world.
Kelly Anderson Smart travels to different countries taking photos and giving them away to people who have no pictures of themselves. As Eric Nelson found out, she brings smiles to many.
I can't imagine not having photos in my life. I mean, if your house is burning down, that's what you grab. That's what I would grab.
Kelly Anderson Smart's forte is creating snapshots in time.
It's really profound, actually.
The founder of Print the Love has traveled to 25 countries around the globe, snapping photos with her Fuji camera.
It's just been such a joy and such a journey.
Kelly gives the pictures away because most of her subjects have no access to pictures.
It's really incredible to be able to do this kind of random act of kindness that says that you matter, that you're important to the world, that you're here, that you count.
In today's selfie-obsessed world, it's hard to fathom people not having their own photos. But in some countries, that is reality. And Kelly's pictures are incredibly uplifting.
It's just joy, and it just turns around a whole hospital room, or it turns around a whole market, or even just a little part of a market.
Most people are thrilled to get these photos, but occasionally some are skeptical about Kelly's motivation.
We just give away photos to people who don't have access to them.
Once people figure out that Kelly's motives are pure, the skepticism goes away.
And when they realize that we're not just taking a photo, that we're giving a photo, it just lights them up.
Print the Love is a nonprofit that Kelly started a few years ago after a trip to Africa. For Kelly, it's a picture-perfect way to make an impact.
And the joy that it creates is what I love so much about going and continuing this work.
I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Kelly and her team of volunteers are going to Cambodia in November and have trips to Zimbabwe, the Solomon Islands, and Haiti planned in the future. Those smiles say it all, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Still ahead, a Golden Valley camp that teaches a sport that dates back to medieval times.
Plus, Wayzata and Osseo go head-to-head for a 4th of July American Legion baseball tournament title. That's later in sports.
But first, dropping dew points. The warmer weather will feel more comfortable through the weekend. We'll be right back.
If you ever see kids playing outside, it's almost inevitable that at some point they will pick up sticks on the ground and pretend to sword fight with them.
As Delane Cleveland reports in this week's edition of What I Learned at Summer Camp, there's a popular class where kids can properly learn that activity with objects that are much sharper than sticks.
On guard, fence.
During Minnesota's relatively short summers,
Attention. Salute!
Most kids wouldn't be too thrilled with the idea of being confined in a school gymnasium. But when you tell them that they'll have the chance to hold swords and battle other children their age, then the idea doesn't sound quite so bad.
All kids want to pick up a stick, right, and fight with it. It's just you can't, it's somehow ingrained in our nature.
KRIS Kratoska is the coach of this summer camp,
On guard.
which introduces kids to the sport of fencing.
And the goal is to hit the other person with the sword in the chest, in the torso, with the tip of your sword before they can do the same to you.
On the surface, it may not sound too complicated, but tell that to anyone being poked and prodded with a sharp object.
Sometimes, like if they poke you like right here or right here somewhere, it hurts a little bit, but it doesn't hurt like that bad.
12-year-old Brandon Cole is one of the students participating in this camp.
Halt! Back it up.
He wanted to take a stab at fencing after watching videos on YouTube.
I wanted to find something new and be active during the summer and not just sitting in the house.
On guard.
For a lot of the kids here, this sport is new, and for many families, that's part of the appeal.
Parents have tried their kids in other sports, traditional team sports, and it just hasn't been a good fit, or it hasn't clicked, or it hasn't really worked. And very often I find that those kids connect to fencing.
To be a good fencer requires speed, balance, fitness, and strategy, among other things.
1, 2, very nice. On guard.
It's a sport that's certainly not easy, but if you ask Brandon, it's one that's worth trying.
Give any sport a try or activity. Don't just be in one sport.
In Golden Valley,
it's kids and it's swords and it's just flat out fun.
Delano, Cleveland, CCX News.
Children will have one other opportunity to take part in the fencing camp later this summer. The Robbinsdale School District is offering classes the week of August 6th. Still ahead, a fitness goal started by a Robbinsdale resident quickly catches on.
But first, get set for a bull riding bonanza. We'll preview this year's Hamel Rodeo. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Osseo and Wayzata's American Legion baseball programs have each won the Delano Stars and Stripes Wood Bat Tournament in the past. The two were matched up in the championship game on the 4th of July on a beautiful night for a ball game in Delano. Pitching and defense make hits and runs hard to come by in this one. Sam Westermeyer gets the strikeout for Wayzata to end the 4th inning. Cade Wiles is just as good for Osseo. He comes off the mound here, makes a nice play for the out at second base. It's scoreless into the 8th inning when Charles Engdahl draws a bases-loaded walk. Nick Kay comes home for a 1-0 Wayzata lead. Then Keegan Nichols check swing grounder brings home Adam Castle. Nickel beats it out for an infield single, and Wayzata is up 2-0. Westermeyer goes the full 8 innings, giving up no runs and just 3 hits. Wayzata wins the tournament for the 4th time in 5 years. One day earlier, Osseo played Edina in the final pool play game of the tournament. Osseo looking for their 3rd straight win in Delano. Bottom of the 1st, bases loaded. Osseo's Jake Contreras drives the high pitch to the wall in right center field. This brings home 3 runs, a double for Contreras, and Osseo leads 4-0 after 1. Top of the 2nd, Edina rallies right back. Andrew Enk's base hit to right field scores 2 and ties it at 4. In the bottom of the 4th inning, it's still 4-4 until Matt Bezdacek strokes a line drive to right center to score John Bezdacek, and Osseo is back on top. Top of the 6th inning, Edina rallies again. Carter Tice's hit scores Matt Enk, and it's 5-5. That's how it stays until the top of the 10th inning when Tice comes through again with a clutch hit to score Andrew Enk. Edina goes on to win 6-5. Osseo did beat Hopkins on Wednesday before the loss to Wayzata in the final. The 38th annual Hamel Rodeo starts its 4-day run at the Corcoran Lions Park with a Thursday evening performance. CCX Sports' Jay Wilcox caught up with Shorty DORWEILER for more on the rodeo.
We've got a number of world champions, including the reigning 4-year-in-a-row bull riding champion and the 2-year-in-a-row bareback riding champion. So yeah, we've got a lot of top competitors, world champions, NFR competitors. We'll pay out about $120,000 in prize money. That's a lot. That's a big rodeo. And you know, there's another big rodeo, Spooner, Wisconsin, going on at the same time, which does help attract contestants because they can work 2 big rodeos at the same time. The thing of it is that the kids they're the people that are going to be buying tickets in the future. And you know, that's why we had the kids events on Saturday afternoon, Family Day, to keep interest. We've got people coming to this rodeo, adults, that still have a ribbon from the calf scramble hanging on their wall from 25 years ago. it's a family event, and we love entertaining not just adults, but especially kids. You know, one of the biggest things is the volunteer fire department. It is a volunteer fire department, but everybody knows what the Lions Club, VFWs, American Legion, and Lord of Life Military Support Group. I mean, you couldn't find better ways to spend those dollars, and every single dollar that the rodeo generates in profits goes to those organizations, every single dollar.
And Shorty, there are nightly performances Thursday through Sunday at 7:30 with Saturday's 1 p.m. Family Day show featuring $10 tickets. Tickets are available at the rodeo or online at hamelrodeo.org. That's all for sports. Alex and Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Up next, a goal started in Robbinsdale, now seen throughout the world.
The Birdtown 100 feet that just keeps growing. That's when we come back. Maple Grove needs your help to capture a few magical moments.
The city's annual photography contest is accepting entries now through July 18th. Anyone who lives, works, or attends school in Maple Grove can submit photos. There are several categories to enter, and cash prizes are given to the top submissions, as selected by a panel of judges. For full contest details, you can go to the City of Maple Grove's website. And finally, Birdtown 100 shirts popping up all over the world.
If you're not familiar with the Birdtown 100, it's a fitness challenge started by Robbinsdale resident KRIS Murphy, wife of Robbinsdale Mayor Regan Murphy, and she started it 5 years ago via Facebook to get people to run or walk 100 miles during the month of June. Since then, word has spread and her group has grown to more than 100 people.
I love the 100 because it is a goal, and most people work better to get things done when they have a goal. So it's a great goal to have, to get this 100 miles. And then it's also a really great group of motivation. On the Facebook page that we have, everybody is always rooting for you and cheering when you hit your halfway mark and cheering when you finish. And people are just really happy for you, and they celebrate with you even though they don't know you in real life.
All of the people who do it are not from Robbinsdale. People from New Hope, Crystal, and other cities have all joined in. And some of those miles were accomplished in Barbados, Jamaica, even France and Spain, among other hot vacation spots. As well as, speaking of hot vacation spots, Duluth, because some of those folks ran Grandma's Marathon. So congratulations to all of the finishers. What a feat.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know where those shirts are going to pop up, right?
I know, that's very cool. Keep going, guys. And that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here again on Friday starting at 4 o'clock.